Hello and welcome to this Python activity, Rock, Paper, Scissors, Shoot. During this activity, you will be creating a rock, paper, scissors game in Python where the player competes against their own computer. As the instructions state, you will write a Python script that is run from the terminal and prompts the user for an input, R, P, or S, aka rock, paper, or scissors. After the user gives their input, the computer then selects their choice randomly. After both choices have been made, we will compare the choices using conditional statements to determine the winner. In the unsolved folder, you are given the following code. First, we are importing the random library from Python. This library is standard and is included in your Python installation. We then welcome the user to the game with a simple print statement that says, "Let's play rock, paper, scissors." Next, we have a predefined list saved to a variable called options. This list contains all the possible options, R for rock, P for paper, and S for scissors for the computer to randomly choose from. We use the choice method from our random library, which takes in one argument. The argument is a list of options to be randomly chosen from. In our case, our list is called options. When the script is run, a single choice will be picked from the given options list and saved to the variable computer choice. Once that choice is made, the user is then prompted to give their choice. We ask the user for their input by using the function input. Input will take a single argument, and that argument is the prompt we give the user to make their choice. We ask the user, make your choice, rock, paper, or scissors. Notice the first letter of each option is in parentheses. This is to indicate that their input will be R, P, or S, rather than the full word. We will check to make sure they input a valid option later. Our next task is to code out all possible outcomes for this game. A valid outcome is when both the user and computer pick R, P, or S as their choice. We know the computer will always choose from these options, but the user may not, and we will need to keep that in mind. There are 9 possible valid outcomes. We know this because the user has 3 options to choose from, and so does the computer. 3 times 3 equals 9. This can be broken down even further, as we have 3 outcomes where the user chooses rock, 3 outcomes where the user chooses paper, and 3 outcomes where the user chooses scissors. Let's start with the user choosing rock. By creating an if statement, we can compare the user's choice against the computer's. As stated earlier, the user picks rock, and let's say the computer chooses paper. Let's now inform the user of the choices by printing to the terminal. Let's also let them know that in this scenario, sadly they lost. So let's inform them about their loss with another print statement. That is our first conditional check. Let's do another one. Notice that this time we use elif instead of just if. Why is that? Well, we only want to continue to check the choices if the previous statement was false. If the previous if statement was true, we would not need to continue checking as we know our outcome. Elif prevents the script from running more checks if a previous statement was found to be true. We then make our second conditional check. The user again picks rock, but the computer picks scissors. This time the user wins. We will again let the user know what each player chose and inform them that they won this round. For our final scenario, we will again use elif because we don't want this to run unless the previous statements were both false. This time, both the user and computer choose rock. We will again let the user know the choices and that the game resulted in a tie. This is repeated for the next 6 valid outcomes. Finally, we are out of valid outcomes and are left with the one remaining invalid outcome. An outcome is considered invalid when the user inputs something that is not R, P, or S. There are too many possible inputs to check for, as a user can put in whatever they want. So instead of using an if or elif, we use else. Else only runs if every statement before it is false. Therefore, we put it at the end of our conditionals. If everything above that we check for comes back false, we can assume that the user did not input a valid response. We should then inform the user that we don't understand the input they gave, as well as letting them know what inputs are valid. Now let's see our game in action. Open terminal or git bash and cd to the directory that contains your Python script. Once there, run the command python, then the name of your script .py. In our case, it will be python rps_solved.py. The game loads up, and we are asked for our input. Once our input is given, we are immediately returned the outcome of our game. Play it a few times to ensure that your code is correct and that you do not always get the same output. That wraps up the Python activity Rock, Paper, Scissors, Shoot. Thank you for watching.